what's up everybody? Anthony Fantana here, and not so busy as some music nerd. And it's time for our monthly YUNOREVIEW segment, where I go over a series of albums that I did not formally review over the past month, but I talk about them in brief in a series of videos that originally land on my Twitter account. Shout out to my Twitter account, follow me over there, I'm beefing with everybody on the internet. All of the albums I talk about in this segment are listed down there in the description box. I know some people were asking me to review the Khalid album. Some people are asking me to review the Stormzy album, the Smino album. Those are all here, and many more. So without further ado, it's the latest episode of the YUNOREVIEW. You know, there might not be anything entirely new about this Los Campesinos album, but this record goes back to the very raw and youthful sound that made a lot of their early records so compelling. Gone is the slickness and the overproduction of their last few records. So, you know, maybe if you're not that into the band or you haven't gotten into them yet, this could be a good introduction to them. I think even though it's not really that exciting and refreshing of an album, there are a lot of good things about it. There are some decent tunes on it too. And I guess if you're looking for a peek as to what made a lot of the indie rock and indie pop and sort of the twee flavored stuff in that genre so great in the 2000s, this is certainly an example of that. It's just that, you know, they've just kind of done it before, that's all. Bombast. Yeah, this is just kind of like overblown, overproduced, very thick and bombastic generic psych pop with totally forgettable vocals. Yeah, this is just kind of like overblown, overproduced, very thick and bombastic generic psych pop with totally forgettable vocals. Okay, follow me on this one, but the blindfold is symbolic because I do not see the hype here. I don't see it. One thing is certainly for sure. Global thing is certainly for sure. Climate change can be denied no longer. Oh, hey, wow! I found this whole box here of indie rock's ideas. It would seem it's all out of ideas. I thought I was going to be disappointed by this album, but I ended up being pleasantly surprised. I will kind of recommend this thing. I will say that it's good, but I think that part of what's making me say that is that my implicit Square Pusher bias. I am a Square Pusher fan, and this is a Square Pusher project, Shobaleader One being the band that he kind of assembled and now masterminds on occasion, I guess, in between Square Pusher albums. If you don't know who Square Pusher is, he is a fantastic electronic music producer, and he kind of just appears in this band every once in a while, and what Shobaleader One has done with this new album over here is gone back into the Square Pusher back catalog, and they are doing full band renditions of songs from a myriad of different Square Pusher albums. Now, Square Pusher, if you didn't know, his compositions, his productions, typically have a pretty jazzy quality to them. Not all of them, but a great deal of them. So bringing them into a full band context has resulted in this not being an electronic music record or anything like that. This is just pretty much a straight jazz rock record. It's a jazz fusion album. So, you know, I could actually see not just Square Pusher fans, but people who are jazz fans, who are jazz rock fans, who maybe hadn't heard of Square Pusher's music before, maybe listening to it in this context could just be like, you know, something entirely new and exciting for you guys. Now, this is a live recording. You know, you do hear the applause and the crowd cheering in between tracks, and the recording is a little rough around the edges as a result. but I still thought that this was a really fun, entertaining album. Could potentially get some people who are into jazz into Squarepusher's music. That's what sort of made me cross over into electronic music. Sort of hearing this bridge between jazz music and the electronica world was actually kind of cool. But I digress. Give this thing a listen. If you're a jazz fan, Squarepusher fans, don't miss out on this thing. It is a good record. It is an entertaining record. And yeah, there you go. You know, I really do like Chance the Rapper's music, but not so much that I just want to hear his brother sound like him. And I get it, there are a few highlights on this thing, but the production for the most part is not that good. The vocals seem like they weren't recorded or mixed that well. It's kind of muddy sounding. And nor do I think that Taylor comes off as bright, vibrant, fun, exciting, exuberant, and I don't know, I guess as envelope pushing of a rapper. I mean, I guess if you want to hear more of the same, that's totally cool, but this isn't really for me. Though I do appreciate that he is bringing sort of a, you know, a brighter, more positive vibe in his hip-hop music. Holy complacency, Batman! This... Holy complacency, Batman! This record is... Holy complacency, Batman! Throw this record onto the forgettable comeback albums pile. Unfortunately, I kind of get the same vibe off this album that I did Pharmakon's last album. While there are some really heavy, noisy, industrial, abrasive sounds on here, vocal performances are really animalistic, there's almost nothing to speak of in terms of song structure on this record. Pretty much every track starts off real ominous, little spacey. The sounds and the noises and the volume sort of slowly escalates. We reach a point of peak intensity. We hang there for a little bit, and then it's just over. It's just done. It just kind of fizzles out, and it's bleh. And everything lasts just long enough for it to get stale, and then it just disappears. Yeah. You know, there may be some tracks on this thing that are basically auditory wallpaper, but there are quite a few moments on here where John Talbot's very groovy tropical rhythms, which he's kind of known for, seep their way into the mix, and it makes for some kind of interesting techno fusions. So, you know, if you're into that, give this thing a listen. Even though I was pretty excited going into this thing because I wanted to hear another great grime record. You know, that Wiley record that came out this year, amazing album, but I was looking forward to hearing more great grime in 2017. And while the bangers on this album are as good as any number of which I've heard on grime records over the past couple of years, this kind of seems like grime's answer to the focus grouped hip-hop album that we typically get in the US, where of course you have your harder tracks, of course you have your aggressive tracks where the artist plays to their bass, plays to the sound that got them where they are, but then of course these tracks have to be balanced out with all of these ritzy, glitzy, buttery, smooth R&B tinge pop rap songs that really don't play to Stormzy's strengths. And really, after they stack on top of each other, because they make up a good bulk of the album, they're actually kind of gross and annoying. Yeah, kind of let down by this one, but what are you gonna do? What is happening? It's like James just found out about of Montreal. It's like they've been there the whole time, and then he's like, whoa, this of Montreal band, there's something to what they're doing here. There's something to it, I swear. It's like you just listen to everything from Satanic Panic in the Attic to Skeletal Lamping and was like, okay, let's make an album now! Am I the only one who feels like this is just a little unnecessary to take all of the acoustic tracks from Conor Oberst's last record and try to flesh them out into a bunch of swanky country rock renditions, which are pretty much what Conor Oberst's last record was such a great breath of fresh air from? To kind of learn that Ruminations was just a bunch of acoustic demos to be laid out so that they could end up on this album over here almost cheapens that record, despite the fact that I enjoyed it so much last year. I don't know, guys. I mean, there's some cool moments here. Don't get me wrong. There's some cool moments, like the vocal work on this album. I think is particularly good, but overall, it just kind of sounds like more sing-songy rap, straight out of Chicago. That's trying to just hop into that Chance the Rapper spotlight. Zishin, have you given any of these albums a listen? What did you think of them? Did you love them? Did you hate them? What would you rate them? You're the best. You're the best. What should I review next? Hit that like if you like. Please subscribe. And other links and related videos next to my head. Subscribe to the channel, official website too. I love ya. I'll see you in the next video. Forever.